On this episode, we're going to be talking about getting on set, the number one thing a director must be doing, and controlling the chaos.
Bout to make your thing. I'ma do mine for life. Bout and bang, do your thing.
Jeez. I gotta figure this whole damn calling thing out. Hello, Brian.
Hi.
How you doing, Brian? This is Aviv. You're on the Ask CineSummit show with Adam Patch. Say hello to my man, Adam.
Hi, Adam.
Hey, Brian.
Oh, hi, Adam. Hi. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Absolutely, my friend. Where are you calling from?
I'm from Hong Kong.
Hong Kong.
China.
Amazing, amazing. Listen, Brian, you're now officially on the Ask CineSummit show. We're taking a lot of calls today. How can we help you?
Yes.
How can we help you today?
Oh, yeah, sure. I'm actually 16. I'm currently a high school student, and because I would love to pursue a career in the filming industry in the future, right? So I'm actually wondering, what qualities would you look for in a director? Like, what differentiates a great director from a good and average director?
Ooh, Adam, this is all you. Let you take the helm on this one.
Because like
That's a big question.
A lot of great talents out there, right?
Totally. I mean, I think it's a little subjective, you know. I mean, I think it's what you think is great is, you know, what somebody else might not think is great. But generally speaking, I think the short answer is having a vision, like, and having a unique perspective. You know, there's especially in this day and age, there's so much technology at our fingertips that anybody can kind of shoot something and make it look good. You can hire a crew and do that, but to have a unique perspective, or to have you know, a vision that's different from other people and makes people think about things differently, or you know, or just blows their mind in some way or another. To me, that's the thing that's going to make you stand out.
Adam, can I try to put that in a different?
Please do.
I'm going to use a different set of words and tell me if I'm right. You gotta have the balls. Sorry for the terminology, but you gotta have the cojones to take risks, to do things that are like out of the box. It's not what you know what I mean, and not just go for like what everybody's seen all the time. Is that in line with what you're saying, Adam?
Yeah, I think that's true. I worry to make that seem like you got to do something crazy. Like, it doesn't have to be necessarily crazy. You could tell a very simple story, and, like, you know, it doesn't have to be super risky in the sense of, like, you know, doing something that's just totally unheard of. But you just have to have a unique perspective, and yeah, you need to take risks as a filmmaker. It doesn't mean that it has to be like the craziest, riskiest, most insane experimental film or something. You know what I mean?
Right. But but I think what you're really saying is that you have to really you got to hone your style and be like find who you are, find out what how you want to tell stories, because you can copy somebody else. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay. Brian, does that help? Does that answer your question?
Yeah. What qualities would you look for? Like, would it be nice? Yeah, because filming is actually an extremely collaborative project, right? So, how do you motivate a team? Because like, I'm actually shooting a short film right now, currently. Well, not right now, but yeah. And one of the problems that I find really challenging is when it's not a professional crew, right? I'm still a high school student, but I find a few friends to help me. One thing I find very challenging is that it's very hard to motivate a crew, and when everyone is looking at you for instructions and what to do, it's very stressful, and all the thoughts that are going in your mind, it's kind of chaotic. So do you have any strategies to how to handle the thoughts and how to organize it so that you can remain composed and also figure out solutions for different situations when things get out of
That's a good question, Brian. For me, I have two answers. One is just practice, which is just doing it over and over. And the more you are on set and having to make those stressful decisions at the last second, like the better you get at it. So just repetition and doing it. The other thing is preparation, I think. Like when you're on set, the last thing that a crew who, especially if it's a volunteer crew or non-professional people and they're there to help you, the last thing they want to do is sit around waiting for you to like make up your mind or try to figure something out like live. You want to be prepared, and I mean that, and prepared in the sense of the actual process of the day and having answers for people, but then I mean also just prepared in terms of like just visualizing your day and you being a communicator like to the rest of your crew. So it's not just creatively prepared, but actually prepared to collaborate and excite people. I mean, that's your job on set, is like if you're not excited about it, then no one else is going to be.
I think the prepared part of that, Adam, is like is huge. In other words, if you're prepared, they're not going to be sitting around like wondering like they're not being led. If they always know what to do at every single point in time, you're probably not going to run up with as many issues, and you're not going to have to like stay on top of them and whatnot. They know what they should be doing at any given point. So the prepared part is huge. Yeah. Nope. What was that? Did I lose somebody? Oh, yeah. So that's big. Brian, did that hit home for you?
Sorry?
Did that answer your question?
Yeah. Sometimes when an issue pops out, right? Sometimes we always want to find the perfect way to solve the problem, but yeah, we all know that it's kind of impossible, right? So what strategies would you use to compromise between the progress of your film and perfection? Because sometimes it's really hard to overcome that mental barrier when you really want to get that perfect shot or get that perfect edit, but your time is just it doesn't allow that.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's the case always. I think you have to get rid of the idea of perfection and give yourself a deadline, and that can be short deadlines. Okay, like we got to shoot this shot in 15 minutes. Like, what's the solve we can do? And for me, it's like these little milestones throughout the day. It's like we got to get through these next 3 setups before lunch. Like, what are we going to do? How do we consolidate? And then you're making decisions. You're forcing the creative decisions to be made based on other outside factors. But sometimes that's what you need to like basically get it done. Because if you just have all the time in the world and you're like, oh well, we'll keep pushing it, or this shot's not right yet, we need to keep waiting or whatever, then you are just going to be striving for perfection forever, and that's then you'll never have a finished film.
Yeah, and that goes back to what Adam said in the beginning, really, which is experience, right? This is not gonna. The more you do it, the more you get experienced, the more you'll be solving things faster, and then you could give yourself that 15-minute window to get the shot. It's going to be kind of hard in the beginning, but as you get better, then you'll be able to knock it out.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Brian.
Thank you. Do you think film school would be helpful as in like for the future?
Adam, Brian is bringing the heat today. It's question number 4, but they were all really strong. This is the big one. I don't know. Everybody's got their take on this one. Adam actually went to film school, so what do you say, Adam?
Yeah, man, I'm on the fence about it. Honestly, I don't know anymore. I went to film school. I'm super glad I did. I think it was a great thing. When I went to film school, it was when we still shot on film. It was before the Red camera came out. So. So it was the only way to learn was to do that, and there's so much more at your fingertips now. The one thing that I'll say is super helpful is just, it's maybe not like you don't have to do this, but basically film school is a way for you to be immersed in the filmmaking world every day, actually forcing yourself to get the practice to do it. Whereas it's like if you're not doing that, then you don't have the opportunities. Maybe you're PAing for like 2 years and like you don't have the opportunity to actually go and shoot stuff because you're getting people coffee because you're just stuck, in the PA grind. So sometimes film school could be a way to kind of up your game and come out on the other side of that with like a reel that puts you a leap ahead of somebody who's maybe grinding up on personal projects or whatever. But
the real question there, Adam, is that worth the amount of money that you'll have to spend for that? Because really what you just mentioned was very solvable by not being lazy, basically, right? I mean, you're saying, you know, it's forcing you to do a lot of stuff and to get all this work done. But you can force yourself. If you can't, then that's another issue. That's the problem. That's what I'm saying. So in other words, do you spend all that money because the school is now going to force you into an environment where you're going to be constantly working, or you can save that money and probably spend 10% of that, or I don't know how much a film school these days, but you can spend a lot less and get out there and just do a freaking film. You should be pumping out a film once a month. I mean, really, you could. And if you did that, I guarantee you at the end of a year, 12 films under your belt, my God, that's like 10 film schools.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's totally true. I think it's a valid point. I think you know, I think there's something valid also about learning something in film school and actually getting education about it, and not just like kind of figuring it out as you go and having somebody to guide you along that way. But is it worth the money? I don't know. And I think it depends, you know, it's like you take a few classes to get the basics and then do your thing or whatever. There's a great talk or like a YouTube video by Chris Do, who's he's at Blind. He has a YouTube channel called The Future, I think it's called. And it's mostly, it's based about design and like art direction and stuff like that. But the point he makes in one of his videos is somebody asked a similar question about going to art school basically, and he says, okay, take the amount of money you were gonna put into art school, break that up into like 4 different categories, and now you have basically with like, let's say it was gonna cost you $30,000 on the low end, right? So you're gonna take $10,000 and invest that in like doing, calling somebody up and going to live in Paris under somebody who you really love and just working with a master and you can pay them. You could say to them, I will give you $5,000 to let me come and work with you. And then you have $5,000 of living expenses. So there's, you should look up his video. He explains it really well and breaks down a good way to think about it. And I think it's a super valid point and an interesting way to think about education in today's world.
Brian, I think Adam just gave you the biggest piece of advice you could possibly get. That was monster. If I was that young guy, that's what I would do. And hell, it's a lot funner, isn't it?
Oh yeah, thank you. What about the qualifications?
Brian, my friend, we got to move on to another call. You've outdone your quota. It was you know, lots of good questions though, but we got to take another call, my friend.
Thanks, Brian.
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry.
No worries, no worries.
Good luck, man. Stick with it.
Yeah, stick with it. I mean, you're 16. That's the other thing that I just want to say in closing is that
awesome.
You got a long journey ahead of you. Don't be in a rush. You know, just chip away at it, and you're gonna get there. There's no reason why not. All right, my friend.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, sure.
Take care, Brian.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome, my friend.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye now. All right, Adam. Damn, that was good. He had a lot. I mean, 16 years old. You know, trying to get out there. Lots of good stuff there. Lots of good stuff from him. Yeah. I love the last tip that you just gave right there. I mean, obviously, there's so many ways to skin the cat. That's what drives me crazy. If you're really hungry for it, there's so many angles you can take. I mean, the traditional just going to school drives me nuts with anything, and I mean that with anything. Going to school for me personally. Everybody's trying to go to school and then get a job. There's so many other ways to go about it, which might be faster, might be cheaper, and you're actually, when you're done, have real world experience. It's not like you're done now, you got a diploma, now you got to go get the real world experience. So totally. I think that people need to kind of look into that a lot more.
Yeah, we should look up that. We should look at that link. I'll try to find it, Aviv. If you can probably add it in the link description.
Forget about it. It'll be right here
because it's a great speech by Chris. So.
For sure. We'll link that up. It's probably already on our faces. The editor will take care of that. But with that, I say we wrap up. This is episode number 1, maybe 2, maybe 3. I don't know. We'll see. But we'll see how we chop this up, right? Thank you for tuning into the Ask CineSummit show. I'll see you on the next episode. Get on out there and do your thing.
I'ma do mine for life. Bounce and bang, do your thing.